Lance All here for Let's Discuss with Lance All. Happy to welcome Jeff Scott Soto to the program today. Jeff, how you doing?
As good and as well as we possibly can during these times.
Exactly, man. It's crazy and getting crazier, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems like it just doesn't want to end. It's just going to be a vicious cycle of
Yeah,
ugh.
exactly. Well, let's talk about the new album. It's out now on Frontiers Records, Wide
Yes, sir.
Awake in My Dreamland. I'm sure you've answered this before. Title. Where did the title come from?
Well, first I'll answer by saying I didn't title the album based on the whole COVID situation because
Okay.
it sounds to most it sounds like it could have been derived from that, but it was mostly derived from the things that we've already been dealing with as a people, as a society, around the world, but especially here in the U.S. the past few years. There seems to be more emphasis on division, more emphasis on religious, gender, social issues
Mm.
that but it seems lately it's just amplified. We're dealing and hearing about it more so than ever. That it gets to the point where, like, man, I gotta be dreaming. This has got to be some kind of dream or nightmare because I can't believe I could be awake and dealing with this.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever had that kind of dream that you're trying to shake yourself out of because you know it's a dream, you know this can't be real, but unfortunately we are all wide awake in this crazy dreamland.
Absolutely. I also
It,
love the
it,
cover photo.
it certainly is reflective now more so. I mean, the title couldn't be more appropriately utilized based on what we're all dealing with.
And I found that a lot, and I'm sorry I cut you off there. I did what my daughter says. I stepped on your words, and she hates it when I do
No,
that.
no, it's okay. If we're in front of each other, at least we have the body language of seeing when the person's done saying what they want to say. So we're probably going to stumble a bit.
um, where was I going with that thought now? Shoot,
Sorry about that.
I've totally lost my train of thought now. Oh, I got it now.
Okay.
I found with a lot of artists that have music coming out nowadays have been, even though it wasn't intended that way, it's been almost amazingly prophetic along with the times. It's like you guys were dialed into this without even knowing it.
Absolutely, and I've kind of already been in this kind of world of doing things from afar and doing things from home anyway. It's one of the luxuries awarded to us regarding the lack of physical sales in music anymore, and the fact that budgets have dropped so tremendously in terms of record sales, etc. The fact that we now have less money that we can make from music. We are also allotted the being able to make the music a lot with a lot less budget involved
Mm,
and make the quality of the music as good, if not better, than we were able to when we had to go to a studio and spend $200,000, $300,000 on a record.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now let's ask the question there where I jumped in. The cover photo is fantastic. Where did that come from?
Well, I normally don't have any ideas for covers or even I don't necessarily go. I'm not big on concepts.
Mm,
I'm not. That being said, I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted on most albums, most album covers regarding the title or the particular album. On this one, I absolutely went to my graphic artist and said, whatever you do, whatever you think of, or whatever you're going to present to me, it's got to reflect the title in terms of it's got to have a kind of Tim Burton. Kind of a nightmarish dreamscape, escapism fantasy kind of thing. It can't just be a photo of me, uh, you know, holding a microphone and saying "Wide Awake in My Dreamland." It had to be more reflective of the title
yeah,
because a lot of the lyrics are reflective of the title, and
mm,
and I wanted the album cover to also reflect that.
mm,
And that was the only time I actually gave him any kind of inkling of what I was hoping for in terms of the artwork.
cool. I don't want to butcher these names, so I'm going to let you tell tell us who's in this band.
Well, it's not a band. It's basically a
Players, right?
selection of musicians
Yeah.
for this particular album. I'll start with the drummer, who is actually the drummer in my band Soto.
Okay.
His name is Edu Cominato. He's a Brazilian guy,
Okay.
and he's basically been on every album, solo album, or the band Soto albums that I've been working on since 2012, I believe.
Mm.
And because he's just such a fantastic drummer and well-rounded drummer, he's one of the best I've ever worked with in terms of being able to read what I want out of everything that I'm doing without me having to give him any instruction.
Yeah.
My producer and co-writer, conspirator, whatever you want to call it, is Alessandro Del Vecchio.
Mm.
Alessandro I've known for about 15 years now, but this is the first time we've actually worked together in this context. And this was through Frontiers that suggested we work together because Ali's been doing a lot of things for and with Frontiers the past few years, and he truly has he's kind of created his brand and created his own way of doing things. And I knew together we'd be able to write and produce and create such a great record.
Yeah, absolutely.
That being said, he brought in the guitar player. It was a friend of his that he'd known for a long time, but they never worked together. And he told him, someday I'm going to drag you into one of my studio projects. And the poor guy, once he found out that first project they were working together was my record, the singer who's worked with Bumblefoot, Yngwie Malmsteen, Neil Schon, etc.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, you kidding me? What? That's a little pressure you're putting on me. But you know what? This guy is an unknown, and I was beyond chuffed of the guitar work that he put on this record. He truly grasped all my favorite guitar players and put them into every solo, into every rhythm that he played on this record.
Nice.
And his name is Fabrizio Scattoni. He's Italian.
That was the name
and
I was
rounding it off, that's my buddy August Zadra, who sings for Dennis DeYoung, plays guitar for Dennis DeYoung. He's kind of the Tommy Shaw person in the band, singing Tommy songs. He's got this really high piercing tenor voice that I knew I needed on this record because I needed someone to kind of help me get there on some of these backing vocals. So he sings on a lot of the record, and he also plays a solo on one of the songs.
I had the pleasure of seeing him with Dennis DeYoung a couple years ago. I took my daughter. Dennis played a small theater up here in Vermont, and I was blown away with how he sang Tommy's songs. I mean, you close your eyes, you'd swear it was him.
And he's one of my best friends, so it was. I got an outfit that he's part of called Waiting for Monday. I got them signed to Frontiers, and I've also worked out. He's going to be doing a solo record as well, so I'm doing a lot with August. So this was just an extension of the stuff that we'll be doing together, outside of the fact that we're best buds.
Excellent. I want to jump into this album a little bit. I made some notes on a few songs. I always like to get the artist, take on it. Opening track, Someone to Love. Love that opening line, hello. It doesn't get much better than that. That was just a great kickoff to that album. Did you write that one in mind with kicking an album off, or is that just where it happened to place?
I didn't really have it in mind to kick off the album until Alessandro sent me the mix of that song, and it was great, like everything else he did. And on the 11th hour before we turned in the album, he goes, Jeff, I got this idea. I'm going to try something. Tell me if you like it. When he put the intro of the a cappella vocal at the top with the kind of the monotonic speaker sound to it, right there, that's how the album has to open. I love that opened the song. It started the song, but the fact of how it sounded when it came on, I said that's the perfect way to open the record. It's got energy. But it opens with, it's a Jeff Scott Soto album. It opens with vocals. Let's do this.
Yeah, excellent. Jump ahead to track 3, Love Is Blind. I was playing this, and I was playing it on YouTube, and I was looking in the comments section, and people were saying, great song, sounds like Toto, could be a Harem Scarum song, sounds like Boston, a lot of comparisons. As I was listening to it, it wasn't until the end of the song I got kind of a Journey vibe from it. Where were you coming from with Love Is Blind?
Well, Love's Blind, in general, you're going to, especially with my solo stuff, you're going to naturally hear the Steve Perry influence in me. Not that I'm trying to sound like Perry, not that I'm trying to be Perry, and that goes without saying. Even when I was in Journey, I wasn't trying or thinking I was anywhere close to a Steve Perry replacement, but his voice and what he's done and left behind is so deep in my DNA that I can't help but use what I call them Perryisms. I've got Perryisms that I incorporate in a lot of my singing and a lot of my songs because it happens. It happens without me thinking. I'm singing a song and then these little Perryisms just kind of come out of nowhere, and I keep them because they are part of my DNA now. I'm not doing them because I was in Journey. I'm trying to remind people that I should have still been in Journey.
Mm,
I do them because they're just part of my being and my genre and what I do.
yeah.
That being said, I didn't really have any real approach or any real thought of, well, I want this to sound like any of the bands that the aforementioned bands or
Mm,
artists. I do everything with the intent of putting just letting the song come on it kind of create its own vibe and energy. And I don't think too much, man. I
yeah.
When I'm writing lyrics, when I'm writing melodies, the song truly dictates what's going to be sung and what's going to be said in it. I don't think too much like, well, this it's a slow song, so it has to be a love song. It's a grungy song, so it's got to be a hate song. That happens without me even thinking about it. I hear the song and it naturally dictates where I'm going to take it. And it was no different for that one.
Yeah, I found it fascinating the different groups that people were coming up with. I thought it was pretty cool. Um,
Yeah.
Paper Wings, great title. I love that title. I was almost, as I saw, it on the track, Paper Wings. Okay, I'm expecting a ballad. This real
Right.
delicate song. It's not.
Right.
It's a monster. Tell me about Paper Wings.
Well, the funny thing about it, and that's one of the ones that people have liked a lot, and that does come up in a lot of the conversation. And I like talking about it, especially because when I was penning the lyrics for that one, the working title was Broken Wings, because in general the song is about having a fractured part of your life, whether it's your soul, whether it's something that makes you feel like it's bringing you down and overcoming it. But
Mm,
I already not only have a song called Broken Wings that I did with the band Wet a few years ago on an album.
mm,
You have the biggest song on the planet from Mr. Mister called Broken Wings. I
right.
didn't want another one out there with that same title to have to contend with or to confuse people with. But I love the ideal behind the broken wings and the kind of picking up from a fractured part of life.
Mm,
So I tried to find another word that was I guess, as powerful.
mm,
And what more powerful word than using the word paper, which is something that can be torn, crumbled, fractured, burned. Paper is so delicate, but can be so strong. You imagine you put a phone book with it's paper. It's made out of paper, but a phone book is so thick you can do some serious damage and hurt somebody with it.
right.
So as delicate as paper can be, it can also be strong. And I love the incorporation of that lyric before the word wings, and that's why, as I already explained what the song is about, I thought the actual title was even more powerful than Broken Wings.
Definitely, definitely. Next track, Love Will Find a Way. That one rocks, but to me, I got some serious soul, some serious funk. By the time that song is done, I'm like, I would love to hear him cover "Get the Funk Out" by Extreme after hearing that tune.
Well, and that song truly, it's funny you say that. That truly came about. Alessandro had sent me like 6 songs to that point when I was. He sent me 6 tunes that all are on this album. We didn't have any leftovers or any that I turned down, and I told him, man, everything you're sending is great, but I need, my career, my life is structured around groove. I need something groovy. I need something that just makes you bounce your body. And he said, okay, I got something. And he literally turned that one into me after I made that mention, because I said I gotta have groove, man.
Yeah,
And he totally delivered when it came to that particular track.
that was a great, yeah, great track. Probably my favorite one on the album. I just loved it.
Well, thank you.
Title track, Wide Awake in My Dreamland. My notes here are kind of like the title's Wide Awake, but to me it almost had like a darkness to it as well, kind of bluesy, a little dark.
Right.
Great double play off of the title, but the way the song was.
Right, and in general, I mean, the song came before the title of the album. I'll start there. After writing the song and loving what the lyric meant, and knowing that I was writing a lot of the lyrics kind of thematically to the Wide Awake in My Dreamland, anyways, I chose that as the title for the record. Um, that particular song, and all the songs, they pretty much are kind of representation in Alessandro's view of the things that he loved about my career and my voice.
Mm,
He didn't necessarily plagiarize my career and the things that I've already done and released, but he tapped into a lot of the things that he loved about the former releases, and that particular one is kind of reminiscent to. There's an artist named Axel Rudy Pell that I work with in Germany on quite a few records, and his sound is very rainbowish, deep purplish, and that tune kind of has that dark kind of Black Sabbath, deep purple, or sorry, rainbow kind of Dio era to it, and that's why it even sounds like it's so different from the rest of the record, but it's still very poignant to the rest of my career in that sense.
Absolutely. Last track is Desperate. What a riff on that. I thought it was a fantastic ender. And the thing of it is, this album was 11 tracks, but to me, it went by quick, but I was like fully engaged, for the entire album. There were no dips or anything in there. I thought that was a killer ender.
Well, thank you. And it's funny, that's another one that comes up because people saying Desperate sounds so different than the rest of the album. It almost sounds a bit grungy, or it sounds like it sounds a bit old school metal. And it's exactly what I got out of that song is exactly what Alessandro had in mind with it. Because, as I said, he was tapping into a lot of the things that he loves about my career and my voice. One of those things was my time with Yngwie, a song called "I'm a Viking." When I first heard that song, I'm like, "Oh my God, it sounds like from that era." And so that's why that song is the last song on the album, because it truly represents the very beginning of my career. The last song basically represents the beginning. It's kind of the bookend, if I may.
Yeah.
And that's why I needed that song to end the album, because I needed to separate this early sound of Jeff Scott Soto's life from the other ones that are more modern and more recent.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. I want to talk to you about a couple things that you're involved in. I'm reading something about there may be a TSO live stream that you're going to be a part of at some point coming up here.
Maybe there will be on December 18th. There will be the only TSO live performance by us. I'm so thrilled that they found a way that we didn't have to go completely dark this year. They found a way that we can give the people, especially the ones that absolutely need this message and this story right now, not necessarily just for Christmas, but just for this crazy year that we're all dealing with.
Right.
And yes, we're doing a live stream of the Christmas Eve and Other Stories. And all I can say about it is I'm so happy to be a part of it, because unfortunately not all members of TSO are going to be a part of it. They had to be selective in who they could bring in and who they needed to bring in. And I'm one of those. So I'm very happy and humbled by the fact that they trust and respect me enough to include me in this.
Excellent. You're also involved in a program, Rockstars of Tomorrow. Did I see that on one of your pages?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It's kind of a school of rock school kind of mentality, but they go a little further with their courses and especially now during COVID, they've had to adapt to how to do the online Zoom courses. But I just love their platform. And it's a new company and they're still growing, and I'm actually growing with them, because not only did I submit a video just to be a part of their repertoire, but I'm actually helping them move along and grow and expand. And for me, the biggest reward in this business is to be able to pay it forward. And so when they came to me just to even be a part of, as an artist, just to be part of their roster, I absolutely said yes. But when they came to me to help them expand even further, I couldn't say even faster yes, because that to me is the ultimate in what I do. As I'm getting closer to the end of my life and my career, I want to be able to then now help kickstart somebody else's.
Cool. That sort of leads into my next question. You've had so many experiences. You started out so young, singing with Yngwie and all the different artists and all the different projects that you've been involved in and these things. Have you ever thought about writing an autobiography, of yourself?
There is a book that my former tour manager he pieced together, and I guess it came out during the 30th anniversary of my career back in 2014, I believe it was. And he was able to get it out on hard copy, but we never got it published. It wasn't necessarily a tell-all, like a dirt, giving all the dirt and all the details. It was more of a chronicle of my career, all the things that I've done, how I got involved with these people, et cetera, et cetera. I thought it was very chock full of great information. But as we all know, people want the dirt. They want the stories. They want to hear, the television's being thrown out and the cocaine binges and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff in the real scope of things. So I realized for me to be able to tell my story, um, I might be hurting others. And
Mm.
I really don't have any interest in
Yeah.
throwing anybody under the bus.
Sure.
And there are even some stories I can't tell legally and officially. So if it's going to be incomplete like that, it's kind of not worth it.
Yeah.
It's just I'm at the point in my stage at the stage of my life where I'm still kind of writing the book in terms of living the experiences. So
Sure.
I don't think I'm ready for that.
Well, I can tell you firsthand. I know the last time we talked before I started recording, I asked you a question. My daughter was getting ready for a big concert, her school concert, like the next night, and she had a sore throat, she had a head cold. And I'm like, Jeff, what do we do? And you're like,
Right,
rest, drink water. She did it. She
right.
got through it.
That's awesome.
She got through it.
That's all you can do. I mean, the best thing about being a professional singer is that you're forced to come up with remedies and forced to come up with ways to make sure that you're still seen as a professional when you're done doing something that you don't necessarily think you're going to be able to pull off.
Yeah.
From that comes that responsibility. It's a responsibility not only to yourself but to the people that are paying or the people that you're actually performing in front of. So I think it's very important that you take this as seriously as possible and not just go, oh, okay, well, this is going to suck today. It is what it is. Since YouTube came along, there is no more it is what it is. YouTube is forever. And if you don't want to be seen or heard as a horrible singer, you better be on your game.
Yeah. No, there's no more mailing it in, you know.
Right.
Talking with Jeff Scott Soto today, new album Wide Awake in My Dreamland out now on Frontiers Records. It's a killer album. I've heard it, love the songs, love the videos and stuff that you put out for it. Just a great release. Wish you could go out and do something live, but unfortunately, until things settle down, we can't. But hopefully soon. Jeff, I always like. Go ahead. What did I jump on your words again?
It sadly is what it is. I hate that saying with every fiber of my being. When somebody says it is what it is, it's like, oh, I just want to hit them. It's only what you make it. That's what
True.
it should be.
True.
It is what it is. It's basically defeatist. It is what you make it. It should be the actual term.
Yeah, that is And before I ask you my silly questions, that's what I read about you too. And this time where, you've had a very productive time through all this COVID stuff. I read you stay very busy with tons of stuff.
Oh yeah, I think I stopped counting after 100 songs that I've been either writing or singing or part of since I came home in March from the canceled Sons of Apollo tour.
So there you go. You made it into something productive, a time where everybody, somebody else might not have. So.
Well, you know what? A lot of it has to do with because I have the time. I was able to say yes to pretty much everything that came my way. Normally, I have to say no because I just don't have the time, or even I have nothing left in the tank.
Yeah.
I come home from a tour. The last thing I want to do is sing. So if I need to rest up and get ready for the next thing, that's one of the reasons why I'm subjected to saying no, or especially the things I really want to do. But this time around, I'm able to take so much more than I normally wouldn't be able to do, and I've had a blast doing it.
Excellent. Now I'm going to get to my silly questions because we are just about out of time here. First car you bought with your own money?
Oh God, it was a Ford Pinto. I bought it for $250. It was when I saw the ad, it was freshly painted, and I thought, man, that's a great deal. Freshly painted. The only drag it was stick shift. I didn't know how to drive stick shift yet, but I got over that hump. When I bought the car, I picked up the car. It was freshly painted with a house brush. They used house paint and they used the brush to paint the entire car. I was like, oh well, it's still $250. I got myself a car.
What is a day off from music like for you, where you don't sing, you don't play anything?
Probably just catching up on movies and TV shows that I normally would miss. I don't listen. I don't really have time to listen to other music, and I don't mean that to sound egotistical that I only listen to my music, but I'm always working on something new. Always, there's always something in the pipeline, and I'm always having to concentrate on just that. If I start listening to other things, it will distract me more than it will actually help me. So I don't really listen to music even in the car. I'll listen to like Howard Stern or talk radio
Right.
when I'm in the car more so than listening to music. Or if I'm listening to music, it's my own because I'm having to approve a mix or something.
Sure. Okay. If you could pick a TV show to have one of your songs placed in, what show would you like to have it
Oh,
done?
good question, man. Well, I guess it depends on if the show still exists or not, because you know it would have been a dream to be on The Sopranos
Mm,
or Breaking Bad. I think would if it was a show that's already gone, any
yeah.
show, I would say Breaking Bad.
Very cool.
But if it's a show that's currently out there, maybe Ozark.
You know, you're the second artist to say that in the last couple of days. Yeah, great show. Could have Marty on the run or doing something, you know,
Right.
or Ruth or something like that.
Or going into some cheesy '80s club and one of my older songs is
Yeah,
playing in the background.
yeah, definitely. That'd be a hoot. Favorite old school wrestler?
I'm probably gonna go with Andre the Giant.
Nice. Given your choice of household chores, dishes or laundry?
Laundry.
Okay. If you could go back to your childhood and have your mom cook you one of her home cooked meals, what would you have her make?
Rice and beans with chicken.
Excellent. Last one. This is the one we have the most fun with. If they were to make a movie of your life, what actor would you have portray you in the movie? And it's your movie, your life. You can pick anybody.
Man, that's a tough one. I'm trying to think first of all who my favorite. I gotta give you a funny answer. I'm sorry.
No, no problem.
Because this person's older than me, so it wouldn't really work. But I love his acting so much, and I love his personality. Danny Trejo's.
Okay, there you go. Perfect. I can see it. You know, I get that. That's good. That's funny. Jeff, thank you very, very much for the time today, and wish you good fortune going forward and everything, and we get all through this, and we make the best of it. It will
Thank
be
you
what
so
we
much.
make it.
And I know we're gonna get through this. We are people. We are humans. We have the spirit to get through anything, and we're gonna get through this, and we're gonna be as strong, if not better, when we get out of it.
Absolutely.
So hang in there, everybody.
All right. Take care, Jeff. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.